Hi, this is Mamtaj Akhtar. I'm a PhD student at Vanderbilt University. I'll be presenting our work titled From Parental Control to Joint Family Oversight. Can parents and teens manage mobile online safety and privacy as equals? 95% of US teens have access to smartphones where they use numerous apps that facilitate many risky online behaviors such as watching inappropriate content, communicating with strangers, or sexting. To keep teens safe online, some parents have turned to parental control apps. However, teens have found those apps overly restrictive and privacy invasive. To resolve these tensions, researchers have called for more collaborative and teen-centric approaches. Some mobile apps can also impose digital privacy threats to parents and teens alike because of the collection and use of personal information. A recent Pew Research study reported that the majority of US adults have significant knowledge gaps about digital privacy and security, and they seek support from their loved ones. We are investigating whether a community-based solution for co-managing mobile privacy and security could address both of these issues and be generalizable for parent-teen relationships. In this study, we utilized a mobile app named Co-op's Community Oversight for Privacy and Security, developed to investigate the potential for community oversight in helping people collectively make security and privacy decisions. The Co-op's app allows community members to review and provide feedback on one another's installed apps and granted permissions. Features include reviewing one's own installed apps and permissions, other people's apps and permissions, as well as sending direct messages to each other regarding those decisions. For privacy, users also have the ability to hide their own installed apps from community members. Our work explores three research questions. First, how do parents and teens currently manage their mobile online safety and privacy? Second, how do they evaluate the Co-op's app features? Lastly, what are the important considerations one should have when designing an app for co-managing online safety and mobile privacy for families? To answer these research questions, we conducted a user study with 19 parent-teen dyads. Participants were first asked about their current mobile privacy and online safety practices. Then we had them install and use the Co-op's app on their own phones to complete a set of guided tasks. Finally, we asked them to reflect on whether the Co-op's app would or would not be a good fit for the needs of their family. We found that most participants had little considerations toward their own online safety or mobile privacy when installing new apps or granting permissions. They also mostly accepted permission requests as they thought otherwise the apps would not function properly. Parents were already concerned about their teens' online safety, and so they manually checked the apps installed on teens' phones. And most of the teens said they usually help their parents with general technological issues. In evaluating the Co-op's app, most parents and teens liked the feature that allowed them to review one another's apps and permissions, as they felt this feature increased the transparency on their app usage and facilitated more communication around mobile privacy. However, they did not find the messaging feature useful since they lived in the same house and so could communicate in person. Interestingly, parents and teens both disliked the app hiding features. They mentioned that hiding apps from one another could encourage teens to engage in more risky online behaviors. It would also affect their transparency-based relationship. Overall, we found that parents were more concerned about the apps installed on teens' phones as they saw them as access points to their children with other people online. But teens were more focused on the app permissions granted on their parents' phones, being more aware of the malicious intent of mobile apps themselves. Parents saw more value in the joint oversight than teens. They would use the co-ops app more to monitor their teens' apps and permissions. Teens, however, were primarily interested in checking their own app permissions because it raised their awareness and also provided an effective platform to manage their own mobile privacy by themselves. Ironically, parents were more open to take advice from their teens, while teens were more skeptical and said they would need to verify the advice given by the parents prior to changing their privacy settings or uninstalling their apps at their parents' request. Lastly, while teens overall liked the equal footing in co-monitoring, parents mostly did not feel comfortable in being treated as peers. This is because they wanted additional features to have control over teens' phone settings so that they could uninstall the apps or deny permissions on teens' phones. Our study has important implications in terms of how parents and teens conceptualized online safety, privacy, and security differently. Generally, parents were more concerned about teens' online safety issues, but teens were mostly focused on parents' mobile privacy. So apps that can combine both these online safety and mobile privacy aspects can help parents and teens share their concerns with one another, and thus they raise their collective knowledge and awareness. Our findings also suggest that the idea of bidirectional co-monitoring made parents uncomfortable in relinquishing control over their teens. Collaborative approaches may need to be focused on giving teens agency and control in managing their own online safety rather than that of their parents. Our study provides insight into the features and mechanisms that would be needed in a tool for parents and teens to participate in joint oversight for their online safety and mobile privacy. First, a notification mechanism that allows the users to know about any app and permission changes within their family. Second, features that can facilitate offline discussion between family members. Third, ability to allow users to include additional tech-savvy family members as well as useful external resources to provide trusted guidance on apps and permissions. And finally, incentive mechanisms to motivate and engage teens in participating and providing oversight. In this study, we examined whether placing parents and teens as equal partners in family online safety and privacy management would be feasible or helpful endeavor. We conclude that bidirectional transparency between parents and teens may be able to promote their mobile privacy, knowledge, and awareness, and also engage them in more communication to encourage joint learning and oversight. However, these positive outcomes would rely heavily on the buy-in from both teens and parents on the idea that it is their job to watch over one another, which is a drastic paradigm shift from traditional online safety measures of parental control toward a more collaborative approach of joint family oversight. Thank you.